This is the Intermediate Ministerial Internship Final presentation by Mike Major. As I got ready for my second of three required internships to help me develop the right attitude for ministry, I was able to recognize that all pastors do everything quite differently. And these interviews allowed me to examine the characteristics that need to be avoided and what the tests are that need to be passed in the life of a minister or a pastor. Now, for this set of interviews, I focused on more in depth discussions. I spoke with the presbyter of my section, two longtime pastors who I've actually known for over 20 years, and then also my direct report about a variety of topics, everything from the finer points to the big meaty topics of ministry. Now, before I dive into the topics more specifically of these interviews, I want to reference a reading from Pathway's first director, Dr. Kyle Chalko. He wrote an article that recognized the following. Actually, let me quote him. If I had never had this conversation, I would have never known what I didn't get. I would be completely oblivious to an enormous blessing I could have had. And that is the invisible cost of not having a mentor. So for me, yes, I could have perhaps gone many years in ministry and I could have even done quite well, perhaps. However, being able to ask those who sincerely want to see other kingdom builders build the kingdom and build it well, knowing firsthand the toil and the reward of ministry and all that's in between was not only rewarding, but it was a big time saver. It's a headache saver. It saves me from breaking my back on certain things. So that was a huge reward. Now, I spoke with Pastor Sandra Stafford Bocary and licensed pastor John Jr. Bocary for 3 hours in an interview. And it was a very special interview because I've known the Bocarys for over 20 years. And they offered me mentorship and gave me this eureka moment that I had been really searching for and not certain how to find. And the interview touched my soul. It changed my life's trajectory in a profound way. Just to briefly cover Pastor Sandra, she took steps into ministry from the time she was a little girl until she was a senior in high school, and she ended up needing to make her faith her own. She worked abroad. She had some family challenges that she shared, and challenges that in different parts of the world, like the Grand Cayman Islands, and she taught global university classes and worked with incarcerated women. She ran outreach programs. She always focused on her key values, though, which emphasized maintaining a strong relationship with God, communication with her husband, and prioritizing her family before ministry to avoid spiritual burnout. And one thing that both Pastor John and Sandra shared with me that meant the world to me was how their children thanked them for always putting the family ahead of ministry. And that was just a huge game changer for me. Now, again, the same time I had that 3 hour conversation with Pastor John Bocary, and Pastor John shared his insights into his military service, education, missionary career, parenting goals, maintaining a healthy relationship with Jesus, and overcoming his life obstacles. And so his decision to become a missionary stemmed from his experiences in Heidelberg, Germany, during his military service and working with Teen Challenge. Now, Pastor John was a graphic artist, and he was the head also of a coffee house ministry. And John led an outreach. He led recruitment programs. He ministered through music, through testimonies, through personal conversation. And again, him and his wife were in Grand Cayman, and they taught these global university classes while conducting outreach activities and emphasized open family communication, maintaining a strong relationship with Christ and one another. So next I interviewed Pastor Aaron Taylor, who is our section's presbyter, and the importance of embracing one's call wholeheartedly. So I'll do this quickly since I'm running short on time, but Pastor Aaron said, even in the face of challenges, even in the face of opposition, you need to embrace your calling wholeheartedly. And he exemplified this in his journey. Pastor Aaron also talked about the significance of involving and preparing one's spouse for ministry. And Pastor Aaron spoke about the proactive approaches he has towards dealing with sensitive issues in his fellowship. Now, the last thing I spoke about was these big three things I want to talk about actually with Pastor Jim are like the importance of funerals. Pastor Jim emphasized how the significance of funerals as opportunities for deeper connections with grieving families and potentially new members of the church. You never know. He values a well-conducted funeral because of the lasting impact, the memorable impact that they have. Pastor Jim said we never charge for services. This is a outreach we have for the community, a service we do to the community. If they want to donate, they can, and to always meet with the families. Now, I want to kind of give you the three big conclusions in the last 20 seconds I have from this set of interviews from this internship, this second one. For me, the three conclusions were the significance of mentorship impact. If you don't have a mentor, you're losing time and you're not making as much progress as you could. Also, the diversity of ministry experience. Every pastor has a different experience. And then lastly, the collective approach to ministry. It's not you, it's always you and those God surrounds you with. So I'm going to be on to the third internship now, which is the last internship. And I thank you for the class.